quarantine going? Are you hanging in there? Have the suicidal thoughts dissipated? Oof, what a way to start. Well, I don't know any other way to be, so here we are. It's been a couple of weeks since I did a podcast. Last week, I had a lot going on with the studio. We had a massive sale. It was very successful. We have totally cleaned out our inventory, which is like kind of the goal, and lots of happy new owners of all kinds of great activewear, leggings and tops and all kinds of shit. But in particular, it was really busy for me because I created an online store for all the retail that we carry in the studio. So it was a ton of work just to like get it up and running, but it is such a game changer. I do have quite a bit of like mail order business. So I hear from, you know, clients of other studios, or maybe people who were clients of ours that moved or relocated, and they will reach out through Instagram often, you know, to buy things that they see on our stories or on our page. And that's great, and I love being able to do that for people, but it's difficult to manage because sometimes requests will come in and I can't get back to them for like, you know, at least a few hours, or in some cases even a couple of days, and then the item that they want might not be in stock anymore, or you know, it's a lot. Or I set something aside, someone pays me, and then I have to go back and find out like what did they buy, and now I have to get their address. So it could just be kind of a lot to manage. So the online store, which if you're interested in giving it a little goog, is just purebarpearlandshop.com. That's right, I fucking bought a URL. Like, I am a straight up professional, and don't let anyone fucking tell you otherwise. But it's all up there, and everything is totally up to date. So that kept me really busy last week, which made it difficult for me to squeeze in recording a podcast, at least one of quality. And like you guys know, I only bring you the highest production quality at all times. So that kept me busy last week. And then anyway, this week's been a little bit chaotic as well, as we're just trying to like figure out what to do for May in case you don't live in Texas, or you whatever. The point is, we are closed definitely through May 18th, according to the newest update from our governor. So it's definitely longer than I was expecting it to be. And of course, that could be even longer, depending on what happens as we, you know, make our way through May. So I have to just, get to the kitchen, rearrange a few things, and now we can all party with the Haitians. So that's been keeping me busy this week, but luckily things are kind of getting back to chill. So I've got this time. All right. It's been an eventful couple of weeks. I have so much I want to talk about. And here's the thing. I don't know who the fuck listens to my podcast unless you send me a message on Instagram, and it has happened a few times, believe it or not. So whoever you are listening right now, hey, guess what? Newsflash, you're not the only one. And that's pretty cool. I actually heard from someone on my Instagram, and I'm so sorry, I have forgotten her name. But she reached out to tell me that she works in Dallas. She's in the recovery room, I don't remember. She wasn't specific about which hospital she was working at. It sounds like she's kind of getting shuffled around or whatever, but she said she and some of the nurses she works with, she's a nurse as well, listen to the podcast, which just fucking... it delights me, honestly, that serious, actual, like, important, literally essential people are listening to me talk my bullshit, run my mouth, act like I know anything, my fucking elbow from my ass. The news of the day is I don't. And apparently it's entertaining enough for the nurses in the Dallas recovery room. Again, not sure I'm saying that right, but I just want to give them a little shout out in case anyone from there is listening. Thank you guys so much for everything you're doing. Honestly, I gotta tell you, even in normal times, now that I know, I've never once had to wear a face mask in my life, and I still don't have like a medical grade one. I just have one that I ordered from Gold Sheep, and it's just fabric. But I've worn it now like 3 times for a total of maybe 8 minutes of my entire life. And I don't know how the fuck medical professionals wear those things on a normal day, you know, whether you're a dentist or you're like, you do open heart surgery. I don't know how you do it. It's suffocating. It's miserable. It's the fucking pits, and you're doing it not just every day because it's like your job, but you're literally doing it every second of the day because you are forced to. So holy shit, kudos to you. And so glad that I can like do anything that might brighten your day for just even a moment. So thank you, and thank you for all of the work that you're doing. All right, let's get into it. So I gotta tell you, I watched Too Hot to Handle because, well, apparently I'm a professional Netflix watcher now. I don't know if you got the word. You might be too, and maybe I saw you at orientation. I don't know. Hold on, let me take a sip of my chai. So, did you know that you can watch this podcast, by the way? So I haven't recorded, like I haven't videoed every single one, but I've videoed like 80% of the podcasts that I've recorded. So if you're like looking for just something else, a different medium to kill some time, you can always go to YouTube and just search for Cupcakes OMG, and you'll find this podcast and you can watch it instead of listen to it, depending on what you're into. Okay, but I watched Too Hot to Handle. That's one of my job responsibilities as like professional Netflix watcher. And let me sum it up for you. I think there are 8 or 9 episodes or 10 or something like that, but they're like 30 or 40 minutes. They're not like hour long, so you can watch it. You can knock it out in like a long afternoon. Just don't, okay? That's my spoiler alert for you. It's not good enough to actually spend 4.5 hours on. It's good enough to watch the first 2 episodes, maybe the first 3. But by the halfway point, it starts to lose traction like at a clip. It goes really off the rails. It stops kind of like serving its purpose. It gets dull, but I'll break it down for you. The premise of the show is this. Young people are whores, and all they care about is getting the P in the V. The D in the P. I don't know other initials that I feel like will make sense to you. I could say them, but let me, the C in the C. I don't know, think it over. Anyway, so the young people of America today, well, actually I take it back, the world, it's a global show, and it's very immersive in that way. It's cultural, actually. They should play it in social studies classes. Oh wait, what's a class? Doesn't exist anymore. So anyway, back to the show. The young people of the world are sluts, and we knew this. And the show challenges these whore deviants to, for 30 days, not have any type of physical interaction with each other nor themselves. So no whacking it under the sheets, you know? So they can't the whole thing is there's guys, there's girls. They're all like, you know, I suppose I'm using quotations here, hot. Disagree, you know, on a few people, but that's me. My taste is superb though. I gotta be, I mean, like objectively, I have very good taste aesthetically. Like it's just a gift. And I'm not gonna mince words. I'm not going to do the like self-deprecating thing. Like I've got great taste, and I think everyone knows that by now. So like, you know, hot, I don't know. Maybe some of these people are tepid at best, and that's being generous. But nevertheless, the producers pick the guys and the girls that they think are super fucking hot. And for the girls, they're all like filled with silicone. Nothing wrong with that. But I am so surprised at some of these girls, how young they are. Maybe because I never struggled with being without breastises. Like since I'm 11, I've been the same bra size I am now, which is to say massive. I don't actually wear bras really that have like a cup and a measurement. I wear mostly like either shelf bras that are built into my tops or nothing at all. So I don't really know. I think the last time I checked I was a 34 double D. So, you know, they're giant. And if you're 11 and you have boobs like that, the only thing you want in life is to not have boobs like that. So I just don't know how to relate to a person that's like, all I've ever wanted is gigantic breasts, because it's a fucking burden, honestly. But they do look good in an outfit. They are a great accessory, I will admit. But regardless, it's just they're these 20-year-olds and they have these implants, and I'm just like, do you realize that is like a lifetime of maintenance? Like, you don't get to get breast implants at 20 or 19 or whatever, and then they last you for your entire life. It's like it's like changing out your tires. You gotta go into the shop and get them rotated, replaced every now and again, you know, like just some food for thought for anyone thinking about some plastic surgery enhancement in that regard. So anyway, they've got these hot people and they're challenging them to not immediately like rip clothes off and just like go to Pound Town right there in this like Mexican resort island. So, and the whole time, meanwhile, they're providing them with like fucking alcohol and booze and basically just a life of leisure, and a pool and a hot climate where they're wearing next to nothing and an outdoor gym. It's just like, and then they have to share beds and they share a bathroom and the shower, and it's just like, all right, I mean, they're definitely setting these people up for failure, but it's part of what, you know, is tantalizing about this concept. And then if they can get through these 30 days without, you know, having sex. Oh, by the way, it's not like an elimination show is the other thing. It's not like each week or each episode someone's got to go. Like, everybody can fucking stay as long as they keep their dick in their pants. So the premise is very thin, right? Like, that's like the summary. And it turns into a bit of like a romance show or like a dating show. I liked the idea much more of it being truly about like sexual deviance? I don't know. What's that resort? Hedonism. Sexual hedonism. That's the word I'm trying to say. So anyway, I feel like the premise of it being a show about abstaining from being hedonistic is far more interesting than just being like, oh, can we turn sluts into wives? It's like fucking tale as old as time. Boring. Also, so the show really ends up being about this one couple, Francesca, whose job description is like Instagram model, and I'm not even kidding. I mean, she's pretty, but she's also, for me, like, and this is purely my opinion of her physically, she just really does look plastic to me. And like, I'm sure she's beautiful, but I don't get down with her get down, you know what I mean? But she was very cool and very authentic as a human being. Like, I was like, yes, Francesca is just living her life, doing whatever the fuck she fucking pleases. Oh, sorry, hold on, pause before I go into her. Good choice of words. Before I get into Francesca, important to note that the whole thing is like, there is money on the line. So even though it's not an elimination show, they're told that there's like $100,000 in the pot, and if you make it through, you know, you could win the money. They never explain how you win the money. They never explain if it just goes to one person. Does it go to a couple? Does it get distributed among everyone who's there? Like, they don't explain it until the very, very end, and it's just like super fucking underwhelming. So anyway, and then so that's important. So back to Francesca. So she, being an Instagram model, she's very clear right away, gets on the island, and as soon as she gets there is very quick to let us know that she has like 400,000 Instagram followers. Now, that's at the time. Now, bitch has like over 2 million followers, okay? So like, even when she got to the island, she was already, if she's been using her Instagram wisely, she's making plenty of money. So for her, she's like, okay, great, 100K, sure, happy to have it. Like, not gonna say no, but it wasn't like a driving factor for her. So she broke the rules all the fucking time. And every time they broke the rules, which was like no kissing, no having sex, no like whatever the different levels of being physically in touch with each other were, there are different financial penalties. So like a kiss cost you like $2,000. So they would deduct that amount from the total pot. So she's like, I don't give a fuck. I want to go for this guy named Harry. He's 6'7". He's got an Australian accent and he's dumb as a motherfucker. I want him in me. Like, that's how she felt about him. I don't get it. Harry, for me, per what I was saying earlier, they're supposed to be bringing in objectively like hot people. For me, tepid, barely tepid. Honestly, teetering toward chill. Okay, chilly temperature for me on Harry. Francesca was doing that thing where, and she seems like a very petite woman. She's got to be at least my height, if not much shorter. Like, I'll bet, because I'm 5'4", I'll bet you she's shorter than me, but not by a lot. She's like over 5 feet tall. All right, let's not get crazy here, but she's somewhere between like 5'1" and 5'4", I think. So to be with a guy that's like even 6 feet tall would be a stretch, like literally, for her. And this guy's Harry is like venturing on giantism. He might have some type of disorder that we don't know about yet, and that's sad for him. But anyway, sorry, chai break. So she's one of these girls who's just like, oh, he's tall, get in me. And like, I get it. You know, tall is one of the metrics of attractiveness for men, right? Like, to be over even 6 feet for some people, but for others over 6'2" is just like, it's like being at a fucking freak show. You know, it's like the bearded ladies over here, the guy that eats sheet metal is over here, and the freak that's really tall is over here. I gotta see what he's up to, you know what I mean? And then of course all the insinuations of like body parts and appendages and things of this nature and how it correlates to your size. I get it. But there was literally, for me, nothing appealing about this guy Harry. I don't get horny for an accent. I just don't. Because, you know, I also, in addition to having ears, I also have a brain. So it's kind of inconvenient, but like when it comes to matters of the heart and vagina, that it just kind of comes in handy sometimes. So like it's just me, and it's like a weird thing about how my body's anatomy, but it is a thing. So an accent just doesn't get my dick hard. So that's me. But she's like, he's tall. He's fucking Australian. He immediately threw me under the bus for something that he did, that it was his fault. I love him. And this is the fundamental problem that I have with dating, relationships, the fucking, you know, not misogyny, but like gender, it's fucking bullshit, right? I just don't have time for it. I'm not interested. It's frustrating as all hell to watch. He lied, threw her under the bus in the very first episode about who initiated the kiss between them, because they did have a excuse me. I'm getting sick over it. I just can't even like talk about it. So all this, and meanwhile, that's like the first episode. They have a couple episodes where they're like not really talking to each other, but Francesca's just like, I just can't stop thinking about him. Oh my god! And even though every guy wants to bone Francesca, she doesn't really go for it. She just keeps being all about this dumb fuck Harry. Well, let me fast forward to the end. I'm gonna ruin it for you. There's not anything to ruin. The show ruined itself, but like in the end, they are together. They are still together, even though they just like Love is Blind. They also recorded filmed the thing like over a year ago. So they've been together. Harry has moved from Australia to LA. Guess what? Francesca doesn't live in LA. I guess she was supposed to move there, but she's still stuck in fucking Ontario. Somewhere in Canada is where this woman lives. So she was going to move to LA and they were going to be together and they were going to have their Instagram family or something. I don't know. So it's like, whatever, you know, but I just, I just was like, why is this show turning into a fucking, like a dating show? You know, I don't watch dating shows. The only dating show I watched was Love is Blind, because that was fucking weird as shit to not see the person. It was just very, very novel, and there were a couple of couples that I was like rooting for, and then like with obviously Jessica and Mark, I was just like, I can't not watch the train wreck. I have to. The train is crashing as I look at it. I have to watch. I have no choice. You can't just plop me down in front of a train going 100 miles an hour at a velocity of 3 tons or whatever. I don't know math equations, but you can't be, if you were sitting at like a railroad crossing and you saw a train and another train coming right at each other, playing a weird train game of chicken, and you were like able to watch the whole thing safely from a distance, you would not, I don't know what would get you to turn away from that, but it would have to be two planes colliding with one another to be like, oh, you know what, that's not, I don't want to watch. That's what watching Jessica and Mark was for me. I could not turn away. Like it would have been un-American of me. I would have been like a fucking communist to not want to watch that. And I think even communists would be into it. So that was very different. I can defend myself for watching Love is Blind all day. But this fucking thing, this show, which was advertised to me as like basically a fuck show, like Netflix porn, and then turned out into like a fucking G-rated Disney Mormon propaganda thing. I felt very bait switched. It's really, I was disgusted. I was angry in the end. It wasn't satisfying. That's what she said. And frankly, that's probably what a lot of them said, because allegedly none of these people who made it to the end, and there were a good amount, tickled the old ivories, if you will, or double clicked their mouse buttons, if you know what I'm saying. I don't know. So they all walk away with like, I think they made like $10,000 at the end of it. It was something, look, I'm not going to scoff at it, right? Like, any money is better than no money, arguably. And they were on vacation for like a month. It's not all bad. It was just very unsatisfying as a viewer. Now, here's the thing. I went onto my Instagram after watching it, and I watched it all within just a few hours one day. I'm telling you, you could do it. You could do it, but you shouldn't do it. And I feel as though there's someone who's like a new head of programming, or like maybe even a new executive, or something. There's a new production company that they're partnering with, and somewhere in there is a mole. And that person is trying to push a puritanical Christian agenda for saving yourself for marriage. And here's why. This is getting into a weird, deep, dark corner of like conspiracy theory, whatever. It's a conspiracy theory that I have, but I really feel like it has legs. Hear me out. Love is Blind was all about connection before attraction, right? So basically like meaningfulness before marriage. However, the goal of the show from the start was marriage, okay? So there's that show. Then you have this show where they rope you in with the false promise of just slutty, nasty, gooey, sticky trash TV, and that's not what you get. You get instead a show that's meant to basically convert the sleuts of the world into good, well-behaved, pure, virginal people who also find it it's like there's someone there at Netflix who has either just never had good sex in their life, or is extraordinarily like somewhere it's motivated by like religion or some agenda to get the young people of the world to not have sex until they're fucking married. And I won't stand for it. Not on my watch. I say slut it up. I say have sex with any and everything that you can find. See how it feels. Find out what you're into. Safe and with consent, of course. Don't be irresponsible. But like, you want to stick your dick in an apple pie just to see what it feels like? Go for it. Safe and consensual. That's all that matters. And also of legal age. That should be, those things should go without saying. But ladies, if you want to see how certain things feel when you stick, go for it. Have a great time. It's important. You should know these things about yourself. It doesn't make you bad. It doesn't make you anything except for just yourself. And likewise, if you're not interested in that, then that's great. That's fine. Then don't do those things. It's just like drinking. If you want to drink and you want to do it safely and responsibly, have at it. If you don't want to drink, then absolutely awesome. Don't fucking drink. Like, these are your choices to make. First, it just feels, I don't trust it. The show is not too hot to handle. The show is too Mormon to handle for me. You know what I mean? Although actually, I would actually watch the shit out of a show about like really, really fancy Mormons, like Rachel Parcell and her sisters. Oh man, I would super get down with that actually. Now that's a show. That one would be too hot to handle. Maybe they should have renamed the show To God to Handle. I mean, whatever floats your boat, but that show did not float my boat. It was a waste of my time. That's a hard pass. If I'm doing my Netflix review job, you know, and like if I had enough capability and skill graphic wise or sound effect and audio wise, I would just have like a big buzzer that was like a big X, you know, on the screen. So this one for me is not X to handle. Okay, so pass on that one. Let's move on. Hold on. It's just time for another chai break. Sponsored by Starbucks. When's the last time Starbucks had to pay for an ad, do you think? Have they ever? I wouldn't know. I feel like they don't need it. So, I don't know. This is going to be brief, but I saw something somewhere. I don't remember where. But I saw this thing of like this woman who had named her child her name so that the mom was now senior. Like, okay, you see this a lot with men, you know, like Sir Reginald Bartholomew fucking Harrington Senior, and then you have like Reggie Jr., right? And then you have the second and the third and so on and so forth. Very, very common among men. You don't see it as often with women. I think one of the only places I can easily think of would be like Queen Elizabeth. There's Elizabeth I, there's Elizabeth II. But even still, that bitch ain't going by Junior, you know? So like the idea, I'm gonna use my name. If I had a child girl and I named her Melissa and I put the Junior behind it, guess what? It makes me Melissa Senior. And I find it fucking hilarious. The audacity, the balls on a woman to call herself her name, comma, senior, just tickles my pickle. I don't know why. I think it's great. I find it delightful. It makes me laugh. I think it's crazy and weird, but I'm also here for it and I support it. If you or anyone you know is the senior or a junior of your own and you're a female, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me the whole thing. Send me your family tree. Send me your address so that I can send you an edible arrangement because you deserve it. Honestly, you're a hero. So I just really wanted to make sure I talked about that. Big shout out to all the female listeners out there that are a senior or a junior. You are saving this country single-handedly. All right, let's talk about quarantine because obviously we got to talk about quarantine a little bit. So it's been funny to see how across the quarantines, because right now I think I'm in week 7. Yeah, we're either in week 6 or week 7, and it's been interesting to watch sort of like the ebbs and flows of like what's like the hottest trend in quarantine right now. And you know, it started with fitness. People were all out like, I gotta buy it's actually still hard to find fitness equipment online or in stores if you can even get yourself into a store, but like weights and kettlebells and mats and shit like that are all sold out everywhere. But that was really, really big the first week or so. Everyone was trying to figure out how am I gonna work out. Then everyone was talking about Zoom, or maybe they were doing it the same week, but it was like Zoom is really huge. Zoom happy hours multiple times a day, fucking into the night, Zoom happy hours all day long. And then we got to banana bread, and it was like, why the fuck is everyone making banana bread all of a sudden? But then that was happening. And then we also had just cooking in general became a really big thing. All these people who have only ever ordered off of DoorDash or Uber Eats suddenly were like, what the fuck's a knife? And how do I use my pot? So that was the thing. But right now we're into haircut time. We're into hair, we're into haircuts, hair coloring, because like I said, 6-7 weeks. I mean, that's most men, I think, are getting their haircut like once every, if they actually cut their hair, they're getting a haircut every 4 to 5 weeks, something like that. So we're well past the average hair appointment time frame, and I'm gonna tell you something I'm never gonna attempt to do is cut hair, mine or anyone else's. I can't. I don't know how you do it. I know this. Cutting hair is not just as straightforward as taking a pair of scissors and cutting the ends. I know that for a fucking fact. I mean, I don't personally ever cut my hair, and my hairstylist hates me for it. And like, I totally get it. The other day, last week, I think I washed my hair. I think I washed my hair on Saturday. Today is Wednesday. Wait, maybe it was Friday. The point is, I wash my hair like twice a week. So I wash my hair, but then I like work out every day, and I'm a sweaty fucking bitch. I think I have like an issue. I don't really know, but like I sweat when I work out. I sweat more than like anyone I know. Well, Kyle sweats a lot too, but he does really hard workouts. So maybe that, I don't know. I just sweat like a bitch, you know. I sweat like a whore in church, and I sweat a lot in general if I'm hot, you know. I'm not like the kind of person who's just like, wait, right now I'm sitting outside, it's fucking beautiful, it's like a perfect 74 degrees, like 30% humidity. I don't know how we've gotten so lucky. I'm not complaining. I'm living for this weather. So I'm not gonna sweat here, but like if it were high 80s in our normal weather, like I could sit out here for a little bit and like, yeah, I would start getting like sweaty on my neck. So I don't know. I think I have some kind of gland issue. I could be wrong, but I've always been a profuse sweater when I work out. And I'm the kind of person who, like, some people sweat on like their arms or their ass or their back or whatever. I sweat in those places too, I guess. I don't really sweat my arms or my legs, but like I get really, really sweaty from the top of my body downward. So like my head, my scalp, and where my hair follicles are, that is the first place that I start to perspire. So it doesn't matter like what I do to my hair, how I wear it or whatever. If I sweat and I sweat for, you know, long enough that my hair actually gets a little wet, my hair is officially fucked. So as soon as the hair is damp, it's just fucked. Now for the first couple of days after a good hair wash, I can salvage it. I can blow it back out, fluff it around, like I can dry it, I can do the whole thing. But by like day, depending on the workouts, and sometimes I don't fix my hair. If I work out later in the day and I get sweaty, it's like 5 or 6 o'clock, I'm like, fuck it. I'm just gonna like pull my hair back because I'm gonna work out in the morning, whatever. If I do that, then my hair is super fucked. Like I really have to fix it. Otherwise, basically what happens is it's like one of those dogs that just like grows hair instead of fur, and you know, they get mats and then like it hurts to comb them out, or it's like you can't. That's basically what happens to my hair. Now my hair is wonderful. Right now I'm having a fantastic, soft, like flowy hair day because I made sure of it. I did a hair mask for like 4 hours yesterday, and then I even hair masked again while I was in the shower, and then I used a really wide round brush and did an awesome blowout that was really smooth. So it's fine, and I haven't sweat yet. But just 24 hours ago, my hair was a matted fucking mess. And where I'm going with this is that the ends, the bottom 2 inches of my hair, they should just go. I know they should just go. I know it would be, quote, like better for my hair. But here's the thing, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if my hair came out and it felt like sandpaper. If I was growing out what's a good comparison? Like I could be growing dried pasta out of my hair. Dried spaghetti noodles could be sprouting from my, I wouldn't give a shit so long as it looks good. and it's long. Like my number one priority is my hair color and covering any grays. But then my number 2 priority is length and making sure it's really long. So I'm not interested in getting a haircut anytime soon myself. But Kyle's hair is starting to get a little long. Like he always has it a little bit longer on the top, and then the sides and the back are like short. So so he's had a little wiggle room, and he also got a haircut like right as we went into quarantine. So he's been able to like kind of get by, but now it's starting to just slightly grow over his ears a little, you know? And he was like, I'm just gonna bick it. I'm just gonna like shave it all. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Absolutely not. I mean, like some guys can really pull that look off, right? And it makes sense. But like, I'm not saying Kyle can't pull it off. I'm just saying that he like shouldn't. I don't want to look at it, but so we haven't gotten to that point yet. But he was like, you could cut my hair. I'm like, I would never fucking do that. I have a couple of friends who have done haircuts on their husbands, and I gotta tell you, they have done a fantastic job. But I honestly don't know where they got the audacity to think that they were okay to do that. Like, I just can't do it. Can't, I won't, I shan't. I proclaim it here and now, but this is the newest trend, is fucking cutting your hair in quarantine. And to that, I'm just like, what's another couple weeks, you know? We're literally, well, who's to say? You know, we just got the extension last week of being closed through May 18th, which is still like, God, it's a little more than 2 weeks out. It's about 3 weeks away. So maybe it is. I don't know. I just kind of feel like, guys, you can sit tight, you know? Like, take it down a notch. It's gonna be fine. I don't know. But that's the thing. That's what I noticed was the cutting the hair. So can we just like not? That would be fine with me. Since we're on the discussion of like quarantine trends as we find them on Instagram, let me talk a little bit about my, not newest, but one of my most passionate Instagram hobbies and accounts is Laura Beverlin. We have to talk about Laura. If you follow my Instagram, you'll know I give Laura Beverlin shit. But I give her shit, but I do it because I find her fucking fascinating. I am like low key obsessed with her probably. So I am definitely a fan. However, it's just like complicated. I've talked about it on my Instagram, but I'm not really sure if like my feelings for her are coming through accurately. I worry, what the fuck does this say about me that I'm like, I worry about how people think about how I think about her? No, I worry that it comes across like I dislike her. And I can't say that's true. Okay, hold on. I've got to start back because I can imagine there are lots of you, and by lots of you, I mean the 10 of you that listen to this. I can imagine there are a good amount of people who don't actually know who this woman is. Let me give you some context. So Laura Beverlin is like your classic Instagram influencer. She is blonde, tan, has a mouthful of big white chiclet veneers. She's just, well, in the last year or so, maybe 2 years ago, I don't know. The reason I started following her was because within the last year or so, she bought this gigantic house somewhere on the Gulf Coast of Florida, and it was all kind of weird and spooky, and she and her husband have been renovating it, and so I wanted to follow for that reason. But like, and she's tan, and she just hangs out with all the social media influencers. She's one of these people. She's now up to almost 800,000 followers. Like, this is her career. So she's always on Instagram, you know, and just like me, stars, they're just like us. So she's on Instagram posting stories all day long. Again, it's her job. Why I'm doing it, who knows? I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm like Tinkerbell, and I need your applause to survive. And so that's why I share. She does it because she actually makes money. Every time you see a story pop up from her, it's just going cha-ching, cha-ching in her bank account. So I mean, like, goals. So I do it for free. I'm a humanitarian, really, is what it is. So she is always on Instagram, and I would say like 80% of the time she's on Instagram to sell things. But she is so fucking good at it. She'll be sitting, she's like, I'm just having my morning coffee. A lot of you guys were asking how I make it, so I'm just gonna show you. I don't know why I'm talking like that. That's not how she talks. She's kind of got a little more of a twang, because I think she said she's from Alabama. So she's got more of a little twang. Well, oh God, I don't know how to do it. All I know is, okay, she says dang and dang it a lot, and she'll say cute. It's so cute. It's so dang comfy. Oh, and then she does this thing. Again, I'm not making fun of it. I love this shit. I think it's great. I wish I knew more people like this. I just kind of want to like give her a hug and like hit her on the head at the same time. It's like a weird, complicated relationship that's definitely one-sided and probably a tiny bit psychotic. But like she'll do this thing that only like 5 and 6-year-olds do, where she'll say the word saw, like, oh, I saw this online. Instead of saw, like S-A-W, she'll add on an L at the end. She'll be like, I saw it. Hey guys, a lot of you were asking about the chair that I just put out on the patio, and I saw it online. I think it's great. I love it. I saw it. I saw it online. I saw it for sale. Oh my God. So it's great. So this is her. And so she'll like get on and she'll start talking about her coffee and how, oh, she got so many questions and so many DMs. People want to know how she makes her coffee. And you know how she makes her coffee? She has a fucking Keurig. She takes one of the little pods, she plops it in the thing, she closes the thing, she presses go, boom. That's how she made her coffee. She does tutorials for shit that does not require a tutorial. Her husband's name is Marky, I guess. I'm not sure if his name is actually Mark and she calls him Marky because she thinks it's cute. I could totally see that being a thing. Or if his name is Marky and that's why she calls him Marky. And either way, I love it. I hope she never stops. And I love it when she gets a message from a person and that person calls him Marky. It's like, I don't know. I'm not into calling people by pet names that I did not personally give them. I just feel like you have to kind of you have to earn that right. And to call someone's husband by the wife's pet name just feels fucking weird and creepy. So her followers do it, so it might be his actual name. Don't know, don't care, never want it to stop. So she will tell you how she makes her coffee. She will also, she doesn't cook, but he will. And by cook, I mean like warm stuff up from the freezer. It's pretty much like their go-to. They love the Cracker Barrel, and so do you get it yet? Are you kind of like with me? They love the Cracker Barrel. Oh, by the way, these people are 31 and 33 years old. So I'm not talking about young, like newly married, young people out in the world for like, they're full-fledged fucking adults, okay? So it's just, she is like a child. And not in a way that makes me like worry about what happened to her when she was growing up. I think she's just genuinely this innocent and like this like fluffy. I really do, and that's why I like her. I like her, but also I'm like, I don't get it. Nothing has like seems to have ruined her, and it's very pure and it's very cute, and but it's also like, it's also just, it's bizarre cuckoo bananas style. So they love Cracker Barrel, and she'll be like, hey guys, you said that you wanted to see our grocery store haul, so let me show you what we got. We got this Cracker Barrel mac and cheese. It is so good. Marky loves it so much. And so like, that's what they'll have for dinner. They'll like, but then she'll like show you what else they're having with it. And like she'll be like, we're having this Italian chicken. And for me, I think, oh, Italian chicken, okay, great. So some oregano, you're doing some rosemary, lots of garlic. We're gonna use some good olive oil, you know, maybe we're doing a little red pepper and making it, no, she's literally just taken some raw chicken and marinated it in like craft Italian dressing. And there's a time and a place for that. I'm sure it's great, but it's not a recipe. You can't go online and say, hey, I've got a great recipe, put your chicken in salad dressing. You can't do that unless you made the salad dressing. So things like that, I just love it. It just like kind of gives me a little delight for the day. It's bizarre, but I also hate it because I'm like, bitch, I'm over here making a proper roast chicken. I literally put my hand up the chicken ass. I roasted it beautifully. I put white truffle butter on this bitch. where are my 800,000 followers? So it's just like, does not compute for me. And that's a little bit of the other thing. So, and I think part of it is like, she's such a fucking parody, but I don't think she's in on the joke, which is also weird to me. Now again, she's not rude, she's not shitty. Like she doesn't seem to be bad in any way. So it's kind of too bad that she's not in on the joke, because it would make her so much cooler. But at the same time, because she's not aware, but she is so sweet. It's just like, you're kind of like, okay, like come back to earth a little bit, but you just can't. So it's very complicated. It's very complicated, but I just need you to know that she's out there, and I need you to know that I don't hate her. I quite love her. I kind of want to take care of her and like kind of help her, but she seems to be doing great. She's thriving. She would probably feel like that about me, you know? She's probably like, I really want to take you to church, and I'll be like, pass. Have we met? I can't go in there. I'll turn to dust. But I like to follow her, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed for her to hit 1 million. I think it's gonna happen for her. I really do. So that's how I feel about her. Oh, you know who I don't like? Okay, let me walk you through some more internet drama. I'll tell you, I'll say something. I know that I like to talk a lot about bullshit, and I can get very into my opinions, and I've got a strong point of view and all this and that. But I gotta tell you, I actually really dislike drama in my personal life. I don't actually have much drama in my personal life. My professional life, there's probably some. There's more than in my personal life, drama that is. Not because I want it, not because I seek it out. It doesn't like fuel me, but because and we've talked about this before, I have a very, very passionate stance on ethics and doing what is right, and that doing the right thing is not the easy thing. In fact, it's very rarely the easiest thing to do the right thing. So, but I feel very strong about that. So when people are doing what is ethically the wrong thing, or hurting someone in a way that, and it doesn't need to be, I feel very strong. I get very passionate. So it's like, I'm not trying to create drama, but if I see a wrong being committed, I have no problem like standing up for it, sticking up for it, okay? So I say that because I'm about to tell you some fucking juicy drama. Well, I don't know if it's juicy, but it is just it's a funny light thing, but it's like there's twists and there's turns. But I just want it to be clear that like I'm not trying to create this shit, but if shit happens to me, guess what? I had this old I've had a lot of like faux Real Housewives taglines for myself over the years, and I think that one of the ones I came up with once was like, I may not start shit, but I will end it, or something like that, you know? Like, I'm not afraid to get in it, but that doesn't mean that I like want it. Does that make sense? Okay, so now that I've it prefaced, right at the beginning of this year, I set up a Poshmark account, because as the owner of a fitness studio that sells high-end activewear, I have, for at that point 2 years, accumulated so many clothes, leggings, tanks, all that shit, which I love, and I wear like 95% of the time. But by the end of last year, it was like my closet was overflowing to a point where I'm like, I don't even know what I have anymore. I don't have enough hangers, and this after buying hundreds and hundreds of hangers all throughout the year. I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. So I created a new rule for myself, which was like 1 in, 1 out. You know, I started with like a bulk, like mass clean out of my closet, and I had sold lots of things just on my personal Instagram account to the followers there, but it was getting to be too big. And then it was also like, if people want to buy it, where do they go to like look and see, especially if my stories are gone or whatever. So I got several suggestions to get onto Poshmark, where I could like resell the clothes from my closet that I wasn't wearing anymore. But I also realized I could sell the inventory that we didn't move at the studio. And so Poshmark is basically like an online thrift shop in a way. I mean, you can go on there and sell like you are a boutique, and you can sell at your full price and it's new clothes and all that shit. You have that option. But for me, I was just like, look, I just need to recoup my investment. If I, important note for anyone, just for whatever your life lot is, when you go to a store or a retailer that carries actual merchandise that you can buy, clothes, shoes, accessories, these are items that have already been purchased. It's overhead for that business owner. So in order to bring in a pair of leggings, I have to buy those leggings at my wholesale price, and then I sell them for the retail price to the end user, the consumer, the client, whatever. And so until that business sells that item is a loss immediately. So if you walk in to a boutique or a store or whatever, just looking at the floor and all the clothes out, that is just all the money that they've lost until you buy it. So when people don't buy clothes, or whatever, in my case, it's leggings and tanks and bras and stuff. When those things are still on my floor, especially after like 6 weeks or so, like the likelihood of me being able to sell them, especially at their full price, goes down astronomically. So I basically lose big time, and I lose and lose and lose every single day the more it sits. So Poshmark was looking like a really viable option for me. I was like, okay, even if I have to sell a little bit of a loss, at least I will recoup what I spent on it. And that was my biggest thing, right? So I go on Poshmark and post a bunch of shit, and I've sold a ton of shit, and it's been very simple. I've never really had any issues, I've literally never had any issues, and I've sold thousands of dollars worth of stuff on Poshmark. So lots of stuff, right? And I would say a good 70%, if not maybe even slightly more, of what I've sold is stuff from the studio. So brand new, still has the tags on, literally never worn, and that's the stuff I'm selling. And I am putting a pretty good discount on it. I'm not selling it, if it's brand new with tags, I don't go straight to the 50% off, because Poshmark will actually take a cut of what you sell it for. So if you buy something that you paid $50 for and it retails for $100, if you try to sell it for $50, that's your amount that you paid for the wholesale, but they're gonna take, I forget what it is, but call it like 8%, 10%, something like that. They'll take 10% of the sale price. So you actually lose money by doing that. So when it's brand new like that, I will mark it down, but usually like around 30 or maybe 35%, depending on like, maybe I only have one unusual size, or I know it's a fabric that's not gonna be everyone's cup of tea or whatever. But anyway, so 2 weeks ago, this girl, I think it was a Saturday night, bought a bundle. A bundle is basically multiple things in one order. And she was buying like 7 items, all of them new with tag items, which is unusual. I don't usually have anyone who buys that many things. A lot of times people will buy 2 items. That's not uncommon, like the matching top or the matching bra and leggings or something. But this girl was buying a bunch of spiritual gangster shit, and she bought like 7 items, and it was like a $300 bundle, so it was pretty good. I was like, oh, nice. That was on a Saturday. Monday, now, a couple things. It was a Saturday night, which meant no way for me to get it out, right? Because it's Saturday night, A. The next day is Sunday, post office is closed. Oh, by the way, we're in fucking quarantine, whatever, right? So on Monday, in other words, the first opportunity I could have had it all to get anything in the mail, she sends a message and she's like, when are you going to get this out? Insinuating it's been a long time or some shit. And by the way, Poshmark has some like expectations of sellers. You're supposed to be you're supposed to get it out, I think within I think they recommend within 5 to 6 days, basically a week, which is totally reasonable. But I've actually sent a few things later than that, and it's fine. Like the seller or the buyer can cancel the order if you haven't shipped it. But some people don't give a fuck. They're like, whatever, put it in the mail when you can. Generally speaking, I get it out within a few days, right? It's Monday. It's literally the first day I've been able to even consider putting something in the mail. And immediately she's like, when are you planning on getting this out? And I said, or when do you think this will ship? Something like that. And I was like, oh, probably, tomorrow. Sorry. Tuesday was the day she sent this. Okay, so one day had passed. and bear in mind, like, I am trying to do my best to do as few unessential trips as possible. So like, I'm the kind of person who grocery shops 2, sometimes 3 times a week. I'm going once like every 8 to 10 days. And I know that may not sound crazy to you, but that's like really crazy for me. So same with the post office. Some days, sometimes I go to the post office like 2 or 3 times in a week, depending on like what's moving and what's selling. And that can be for the studio or my Poshmark account. So, so I'm limiting my trips. And I also knew I was having this big, massive sale that week. So by the way, just for frame of reference, these conversations were from last week. And I was like, you know, I would prefer to wait to put her shit in the mail when I'm gonna also have to go and put a bunch of shit in the mail anyway, as it is. So on Tuesday, she's like, when will you be getting this out? And I was like, I will get this in the mail tomorrow. Because I could tell this bitch was like itching to get her shit. And quite frankly, I was itching to get my money. Because you don't get your money on Poshmark until the buyer receives it and then like marks it as received in the app. So I was like, well, the sooner I get it out, the sooner I'll get my money and then I'll be done with this fucking annoying bitch. Because I could like tell, you know, I could tell she was going to be a problem. Anyone that's like following up within 24 hours of a non-emergency item, no less. I mean, where the fuck does she think she's going to wear 4 outfits? I don't know where the fuck she lives, but I guarantee you, actually I do, because I know where I sent it. She lives in Northern California. I know that Northern California is on a fucking lockdown. So where the fuck this bitch is so urgently trying to get her hands on some spiritual gangster leggings and a goddamn sweater to go God knows nowhere does not make sense. I felt no rush, but she clearly did. I wanted my money. I wanted her fucking gone from my life for the rest of time. So on a Tuesday, I said, I will get this out to you tomorrow. Guess what I did? I fucking got it out the very next day. Dropped it off around 3 o'clock. Every Poshmark shipment gets its own like shipping address label with a tracking number. And then the post office scans that tracking number and then it flags the seller and the buyer that the thing is now on its way. Well, sometimes they don't scan those things right away, or it might not get scanned at all. In this case, it didn't get scanned until like 9 p.m. that night. I wouldn't normally pay any attention to that. The only reason I did is because around 7 p.m. So remember, at 3 p.m. I dropped off her package to the mail. Around 7 p.m. she messages to say that she wants to cancel the order. All right, let's catch up. We are 2.5 business days after she ordered her package where I am in a position to ship it. And I've already shipped it. And now, mere hours after I've gotten it in the mail, she wants to cancel the order because it's taking too long. I think it doesn't take a fucking genius to recognize, it doesn't take a fucking Laura Beverlin to recognize that this bitch had some fucking buyer's remorse and didn't want to spend her money. I messaged her back and I was like, look, I already dropped it in the mail. I got the tracking information because I didn't see her message until after the tracking information had come through. That's why, you know. So I was like, sorry, you know, and that was that. That was Wednesday. And she got it. She must have received it either Thursday night or Friday morning, because on Friday morning, I had a message from her. I had a message from Poshmark, which was from her opening a case against me to complain that I sent her damaged items. And in it, she went on to say that everything was, nothing was wrapped in tissue paper. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you thought you were ordering from fucking NeimanMarcus.com. Bitch, you were ordering off of Poshmark. You just got almost wholesale pricing on brand new fucking shit. What the fuck did you expect? I folded shit, I put it in a box, you ordered one big sweater, I didn't want to have to charge you for shipping twice, so I made it work, and I pushed that sweater into the one box that I had for all the rest of your goddamn shit. And then I sent it off to fucking California, and it probably got hot along the way, and when you took shit out of the box, guess what? It had some fucking wrinkles in it. Not permanent damage, aside from the brain damage in your own head. So she sends a picture of only one item that has a quote damage or is damaged or imperfection, whatever. And what it was the tiniest little like gray smudge like on the armpit hole, or on the armpit rather, no hole. She claims this was damage, and I'm thinking to myself, first of all, that could have happened from something that you did. That could have been from the box, like ink on the box somewhere. Fuck if I know. Oh, by the way, did you even try to get it out? Did you put a little bit of water on it? Did you maybe like use a Tide pen? Feels very insignificant, quite frankly. Again, considering she got it at almost wholesale pricing, no less. Like she got a big discount baked into it. So it's like, you kind of get what you get in that regard. Whatever. It's like, whatever. So she files this like case against me because she's like, oh, it was damaged. But it's like one item arguably was damaged, but you ordered 7 items. So she wanted a refund for everything. She wanted to refund it. She's like, I'll ship it back in the condition that I received it, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking to myself, well, I don't fucking trust you. So I wrote back, because in this case, it's like an ongoing back and forth of the buyer and the seller, and then Poshmark reviews it. And so I'm like, oh, fuck you. Absolutely not. So I wrote back and I said something to the effect of, what's wrong with all the other items? I'm like, I'll return your one shirt. You know, I'm like, fine, I can be reasoned with, but what I won't be is lied to or have my integrity questioned. I fucking won't have that. So I was like, I will refund your the white shirt, but I don't understand what you need a refund for everything else for. What were the issues? And then she was like, this is where she started to really go off the rails. She's like, well, they were wrinkled, but that's not even the issue. And it took a long time to receive them, but that's not even the issue. Blah, blah, blah. It's about this one top. And I'm like, okay, so if it's the one top, why do you need a full refund on everything else? And she goes, well, because everything else came like wrinkled. And I'm like, wait, so it is about the wrinkles. You want a refund because there were wrinkles in the items you fucking ordered? And then I had to go on to give her a lesson on the fact that we're in a global pandemic and shit's closed and social distancing is important. And so like the fact that it took me 2.5 business days to get your shit in the mail, like doesn't actually mean that I was in violation of like the timeliness that you're supposed to, like the whole thing was absolute fucking insanity. And she kept, once she realized that she was fucking with someone who was gonna really fuck with her back, she started to pull back. And she was like, I'm sure that Poshmark will do the right thing. Like she was trying to suck somebody's invisible dick there to get to thinking that might help her. Here's what I've learned in life. Yeah, kiss asses can sort of kind of get what they are after here and again, but most of the time it doesn't work. You know, most of the time what works is someone who makes good, reasonable points. And if you make good, reasonable, inarguable points, you can kind of be an asshole. It really doesn't matter. And I'm not even an asshole. This is the thing. I'm not the asshole here. I was defending myself, my situation, against someone who was making false accusations about me and being fucking crazy and unreasonable. Oh, and I went on to say in my response to Poshmark about her complaint, I was like, she requested to cancel her order the day I put it in the mail. Like, in other words, I wanted them to understand this bitch had been shady from the get. She clearly didn't want to spend money. She obviously wanted to find any reason she could. She could have fucking put that smudge on the shirt for herself, for all I fucking know, to try and like put more legs behind her claim, you know? So she, so she was like, that's not relevant. That has nothing to do with this. I'm like, bitch, yes, it fucking does. You were being shady within 2 days. Like, I think it's very germane to the topic at hand. So anyway, she's trying to do this kiss ass thing and I'm like, ha, good luck. I don't give a fuck. And I don't play that game. It's inauthentic. It's transparent. Nobody likes fakers. I don't fucking play that. So that's what she was doing. And then I don't remember. We went back and forth a few times. The details are kind of like whatever. But then the kicker was she's like, I've been selling on Poshmark for 9 months and I blah, blah, blah. I know that not everyone gets out their thing. I put things in the mail the very next day. I steam and I press and I wrap it in tissue paper and blah, blah, blah. I fucking, you know, queef on it. Like she was very proud of her fucking Poshmark skills. And so at the end, I was like, I don't know, I just said something shitty like, oh my God, don't go now. Like she wanted to be done. That's what it was. She didn't want to keep going back and forth with me, but she did want to make it clear that she was some kind of special Poshmark seller. Yikes. If you hang your hat on accolades from your Poshmark sales, you know what? You deserve it because your life is extraordinarily sad. If that's one of the things that you want to brag about, then you need that because clearly you, every night that you go to sleep, you cry and you are texting, you know, you're writing out like your fucking suicide note at the end of the day, because your life is obviously clearly very sad, very little. You understand that is the case about yourself. So I don't need to make it feel worse. But she's going on bragging about this and basically insinuating that she's like some really prestigious Poshmark bitch. And so I, of course, just got really sarcastic right back. And I'm like, no, don't go. I didn't realize I had the opportunity to learn from someone who's been selling on Poshmark for 9 months. I had so much to learn. And all this, you know, knowing good and well that the Poshmark customer service review people, or whoever the fuck goes through those things, those poor people, God, the only people that live sadder lives than the people that are proud to be on Poshmark are the people that have to review the Poshmark cases that come in. And that's not because I think those people are sad. It's because I think that job must suck so much dick. Like that, oh God. And it's probably because I am such a horrible customer service person that like the thought of doing anything of full-time customer service genuinely makes me want to throw myself in front of like a semi-truck. But it's got to suck to do that job. So I'm like, I don't give a shit who reads this. Even if they don't find me in the right, even if they like tell her she can have her full refund, I want to know that like I put this bitch in her place. Like, whatever. So just trust me. If you were there, if you were on Instagram, you saw it, whatever. So I'm thinking, whatever. I put the thing to bed. She stops responding to me. I'm like, okay, whatever. So then, like, within 20 minutes, maybe, this back and forth, by the way, lasted 1 day. So in the course of 1 day on Friday, she files the complaint. We have our back and forth over the course of the entire day. And then at like 5 or 6 o'clock that night, Poshmark issues a closure of the case in favor of me. And I gotta tell you, it was the victory that I didn't know I needed. I don't know how to say this. Like, I don't think of myself as losing. Oh, no, maybe I do. I think what I think of myself in when it comes to like the you know, me as the player in the game of my life, I feel like I lose a lot. You know, like maybe I've accomplished things, sure, I've won here and there, and things are good, you know, but like I feel like in things like this, I lose a lot. And I think that's also why I'm such a fucking pit bull when things come up like this, you know? It's like I immediately assume I'm gonna lose. And so, but I'm like, if I'm gonna lose, I'm not going down without a fucking nasty fight, you know? So like I will fight to the death. So that's kind of like where my reactions in situations like this come from, because either I'm so used to losing or I just assume I'm gonna lose. And so I'm like, well, if I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna at least be victorious in my fucking words. So it was just a fun little surprise, a little victory that like I didn't realize I needed so bad, but like I really did. And it just kind of, you know, made me feel warm tingles like all over my body, and it kind of inflated my confidence, which I did not need. But don't worry, it immediately got knocked off like the next day, because shit like that never lasts very long. So that's why you have to enjoy those moments when they come up. So I got all the money, and then hold on, another chai break. That was a big one because my drink's starting to melt and I like don't want to lose any of my good chai. So I was like, okay, fuck her, haha, I'm victorious, I win, you suck, that was that. And I was gonna, in a few days, go in, block her so that she couldn't ever, like, not that I was worried she would try to order for me again, but I just wanted to make sure it was like signed, sealed, delivered, you dead kind of a thing. But I didn't want to block her prematurely, because what happens is you get the balance in you get the money in your account. Then you have to transfer what's in your account balance over to your bank. And that can take, you know, a few days. So I initiated the transfer on that Friday, and it took until like, I think Monday or Tuesday of this week to finish processing to actually show up at my bank. So yesterday was Tuesday. So yesterday evening, I go in, I look to see if the money has finished transferring. So then I'm like, yes, it has. Okay, great. I'm going to go and block her. I go to her account, and what do I see right on her account? Because that's where you have to go to block someone, by the way. What do I see? I see every single fucking item that this little cunt bag, this little human fucking shit stain that she bought from me, and she had reposted every single one of them and didn't just want to resell them. She wanted to resell them for more than she bought them from me for. In fact, barely a 10% discount on these items. This fucking colostomy bag of a human who wanted to say that all these items were damaged and she wanted a full fucking refund, man, it then reposts them herself, talks about how great they are, how the condition's wonderful, they're new with tags, she does all these close-up photos, can't find a single fucking flaw, and now she wants 90% of the retail. This fucking shit bag. I don't give a fuck what you think of my language right now, if you think anything at all. If you can't get down with what I'm saying, then you are not my people. And so I immediately go onto my Instagram, I take pictures of it, I go onto my Instagram, I show the people, because I had filled the people in on the whole thing when it happened originally. So then I was like providing this update, giving people the whole you know, the fucking lowdown, thank you, me, giving everyone the lowdown on what this bitch is now doing to offend every single person on the planet, by the way, okay? Everybody should be bothered by this shit. This is like the guy that buys all the Purell off all the shelves and then stashes it away in his fucking storage unit and then wants to resell it for 100x markup. I mean, people like this are fucking disgusting. They should be locked away, put on an island, and have to fight to the death, you know? Ugh. So I post about it. I didn't block her, but I did report her. And I mean, I didn't like fully formally report her, and I will. I just haven't had the opportunity. Like, it was getting late, and I really, really don't like getting worked up about anything at like anytime after like 5 p.m. and beyond. It's really bad, because then it's like I get really riled up, and it doesn't even have to be bad stuff, you know? Like, it could be something I'm excited about, or like me just even thinking about the next day. I have to shut it off because I will just ruminate on shit. It's a very, very unhealthy thing that I do, but I do it. So it was like, I didn't want to like get into it any more than I already had at that point. So I just like go on Instagram, and I was like I screenshotted every item that she posted with the price that she bought it from me for. And right there, you could also see what she was trying to sell it for. So you could see how much money she was trying to make on it. And then I didn't say a word. All I said was that, like, look at this shit bag. Here's what she's doing. This morning, I woke up. I woke up and someone messaged me. A lot of people had messaged me being like, oh yeah, she sucks. Like, everybody got it. Well, oh, I'll come back to that. One of the people who I chat with I don't know her, but one of the girls that I DM with regularly on my Instagram, she was like, oh my God, everyone is writing comments on her shit. I was like, what? So I go and I look, and sure enough, like half a dozen or so people who, I don't know most of them, but like people that follow me that were like, oh fuck this, had gone on and just like commented saying, you just bought that. No one was vicious. I will say, I gotta hand it to people. Like, no one was bullying. No one was being even hateful. People were just like saying what was fact. And they were like, why are you you just bought this from another Poshmarker and now you're reselling it for more than you bought it for. Like, just stating the facts, plain and simple. And I love those people. So those, I mean, it made, just like when I had that little victory on Friday, it was kind of like that. It was like, my people, you get it. You understand. She's so fucking fucked up and wrong. And like, just to feel like I had a little bit of a, I don't know, like a little, a crew of hype girls was just really awesome. So I really appreciate that. If you were one of those people, that was awesome. But I didn't ask anyone to do that. Everybody was just like, fuck this. I mean, they saw a wrong and they wanted to right it. And then the update on this is that she now, because here's the thing, when you go and comment on listings on people's Poshmarks, you can't delete those comments. It's not like your Instagram or your Facebook where it's like you can delete comments or even turn commenting off. It's there. It's like a permanent fucking review. It's like a fucking Yelp or a Google review. You have no control over it. So it's like, it's a permanent shit stain on your listing. And I just loved that. I thought that was great. So she can't do anything about it. And so what she's done, for now at least, is now she has marked the items as not for sale. So it doesn't mean that they sold. It's a totally different thing. She's basically made it so you can't buy them. And I suppose she's doing that to like kind of let this die down. But what she doesn't know is I will be sending a formal complaint to Poshmark about her, detailing the full situation and just being like, this is wrong. You know, either don't let her sell these items or just fucking kick her off altogether. You know what I mean? And I mean, even if I don't make any progress with that, it's just gonna make me feel better. Like I said, if I usually think I'm gonna lose, but I am not going to be silenced. It is such a good thing I was born in America, because I can't imagine living in a society or a place where I am not free to say the things that I want to say. I fucking love the First Amendment. And even though I can really hate things that people say and really disagree with them, I still will, I want to say fight. Verbally, I will fight for anyone's right to say what they want to say. Words can hurt, don't get me wrong, but someone's ability to express themselves verbally, I mean, it should just be it is a birthright. And anyway, that's what, it's just weird aside. I'm not trying to get like patriotic. I feel weird even trying to like dip my little toe in that. That one's not for me. No thanks. But it's a really good thing, because I probably would have been stoned to death by now, like a few times for the things I've said. And I wouldn't have even made it to like junior high with the things I said. So, even if I don't get anywhere with the formal complaint, it'll just make me feel better. I will feel better about knowing I did the right thing, you know? Because what she's doing is a fucking wrong thing. So that's just that. But I will say this, I lost a follower last night. Not the first time. Doesn't happen a lot, far as I know. Maybe happens all the time and I have no fucking idea. But I don't think it does, because my general follower numbers just kind of go up. But, I did lose a follower last night, because I said that this woman, I said two things about this bitch. I was like, she should get coronavirus, and that she should burn in a fiery hell. I said those two things, and I gotta tell you, that's tepid for me. That's tame. I could say a lot worse, but I didn't. And this one person, who I don't know, who has never messaged me before, was like, whoa, a little mean or a little strong or something like that. And I just wrote back, I was like, then I may not be someone you should follow. I said something like that. And then sure enough, like within a few minutes of that message, that person had unfollowed me, which is fine. I don't care. But I think it's funny. Because I mean, I'm probably not for everyone. But here's who I am for. And this really became clear. It becomes clear anytime that some shit like this comes up, because shit like this comes up enough. And it's annoying and it's obnoxious, and I'd rather not spend my time on it. But like I said, I have a strong ethical, I feel a strong sense of duty to upholding ethics and things that are right. And when people are doing things that are very wrong, it grinds my gears. I can't be quiet about it. And so, it's gonna happen, you know? But anyway, the people that I am for are the people who are, first, not judgmental. That's the number one. Like, judgmental people, well, there's a couple kinds of judgmental. Judgmental in terms of like how other people live their lives, right? I'm not for those people. Now, if we want to sit around and we want to judge people on their outfits, the fucking dumb shit that they want to do Instagram stories about, that's different. That's harmless. But the way that people want to live their lives, people's beliefs, all that shit, you got to be non-judgmental. And then the other thing the kind of person who is for me and who I'm for are the people that are authentic. You know, no fake, no fluff. God, I'm so congested. I can only breathe out of one nostril right now, and I feel like you can tell. But anyway, so non-judgmental people and people who are authentic. Whatever it is, whatever your brand of crazy is, whatever your brand of dull and boring is, just be it 100% yourself, because I love that quality in people. I fucking hate fakeness. I hate inauthenticity. When people are trying to pretend they're something they're not, for better or for worse, I cannot. I see right through it. It makes me like gag. And it's something I don't know how to be. So if those things make you uncomfortable, I am not for you. And guess what? feelings mutual. You're not for me. But if you're not judgmental and you're totally yourself, then we can hang, we can get on. And that's why this bitch on Poshmark sucks dick. Okay? So, that wraps up that story. All right, I'm gonna take a quick little break here, but we're not done because I do have some ideas for you health-wise this week. I mean, I just spent the last hour being like so fucking mentally toxic and just a mess, but I'm telling you, I balance it out. It's a yin and it's a yang. So we just did the yin, we'll do the yang, we'll do a yang hang, and I'm gonna talk to you about some things to consider health-wise. All right, see you in a sec. This is not the ad anymore. I really do love Anchor. I don't even know how I could do this podcast without it. This is such an amateur production. Like, I'm never gonna get the audio situation right here. I'm just not. I don't know what I'm doing, but I do it anyway. What is the thing Ben Bergeron's saying these days? Done is better than perfect. And holy shit, could not agree more. For a long time, before, you know, yeah, I think before I opened my business, which was only in the last couple of years, I got to this point in my life where I really felt the pressure to only, you know, deliver and produce and execute things that I thought I could do flawlessly. And I believe there was an element of that came from, like Instagram and shit, but there was another element of that came from my professional background. I've talked about it before, but like I spent a long time working in corporate sales, and I've just had like some nightmare bosses and colleagues, and I have been in, you know, training roles and management roles, and so often in the roles that I had and the people that I worked with, I would have to build things, or, you know, I'd have to create something that didn't exist. And there was always so much pressure to deliver on something that was like absolutely fucking flawless, with no holes and no room for error and no margin for error. And when you work in an environment like that, it sucks the creativity out of you. It makes things like not fun, and it prevents and stifles your ability to create and imagine and iterate, and it just didn't work for me, you know? It's not to say I don't want to deliver something that is like super, super high end or flawless, if you will, but like, it's not like that. Like, it's just not a thing, right? So, I got to this point, I noticed about myself when I opened the studio that I would almost be paralyzed from getting started on something until I felt like I could just do it as perfect could be. And I caught myself on a couple of occasions being like, I'm not going to do a good job of like giving you an example, but like, I remember multiple times in the last few years of being like, this is not going to be the way that I want it, but it has to be done. It could be like getting a newsletter out, or visual merchandising of the retail display, or even a challenge or something like that. It's like, I need to get this put together, but I don't feel like it's gonna be the way I want it to be in my head. But I have to just be like, fuck it, it doesn't matter, just get it out. And then Ben Bergeron, who I've also talked about a few times, is like a professional CrossFit athlete coach. And he has his own business in terms of like business mentorship and all this stuff. So he's a really smart guy. And they were talking on his podcast in the last week about how done is better than perfect, especially right now. So even though my audio and my podcast quality in general leaves a lot of room for improvement, because like, duh, self-aware, at least I'm doing it, you know, and like, that's more than I can say about you. So, but anyway, I do love the Anchor app. It's awesome. Okay. So now that we're talking a little bit about a shift here in terms of your mindset or whatever, I want to talk about something that also I feel like has become a bit of a trend. God, I'm so fucking congested. I feel like I sound like a child with like a stuffy nose, like, One of the other trends that I'm seeing through this quarantine is the queue. And that is a phrase, or the cue I'm getting from one of the Oshery sisters. The Morning Toast is a daily podcast. I mean, shit, I'm pretty sure that they have a staff that helps them put that together, but I cannot imagine. And also, that's the only thing that they do, okay? They don't run another business. Like, the podcast is their business. I wish I could do a daily podcast. I actually really enjoy talking to myself for 2 hours at a time. I'm not sure if you do, but I really get a lot out of this time. So thank you so much. And where do I send my bill for the therapy session? But they've been calling it the Q, and I just think that's great. So I've been seeing a ton of people like tout this idea that you should be going easy on yourself. Like, don't be so hard on yourself. You don't have to be productive during the quarantine. You don't have to be fit. If you want to eat shit, go for it, blah, 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 blah. In other words, like, don't believe the hype, you know? Don't give in to the notion that everyone is using this downtime in this quarantine to be the best version of themselves. Like, it's okay if you stay in your pajamas all day. It's okay if you eat pasta every night. It's okay if you don't work out. Like, that's kind of this mantra. And I believe that it's coming from a very good place of, like, you know, take care of yourself mentally, you know, do things that make you feel good right now because this is weird. And it is true. This is a fucking weird phenomenon. I mean, I think a lot of people felt like that when 9/11 happened. If you're old enough to remember these things and you were alive for these things. When 9/11 happened, it was like, holy shit, the world changed instantly forever. When the housing collapse happened, in 2008, you know, and that also forever changed the world. And then now we're dealing with this weird global pandemic. I mean, my God, I've lived in fucking, as far as I can remember, there probably were things in the 90s, but I was too young at that point to really know what was going on. But like in my lifetime, as like a conscious person, that's 3 extraordinarily massive, forever life-changing things that have happened in like the span of just 2 decades of my life. That's fucking nuts. Okay. Difference is, when you're younger, you are less informed and you have no frontal lobe and you probably have fewer responsibilities. So those kinds of things don't affect you in the same way that they do when you are older, when you have responsibilities, when you have your brain fully formed. So now I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, wow, this is a really big fucking deal. If I were in high school, I've thought about it a few times. Like, what if this happened to me when I was in high school, or just right out of college, or young or something, you know, like younger, because I'm only 35. I'm a young person. But, you know, when I was younger, how would I have approached this? How would I have felt about this, right? And I think it would not have been, I think I would have been in a total like la la land. I would have just been like, this is great. I love vacation, you know? So with age comes, you know, a lot of problems. But I think that whole sentiment of going easy on yourself is a good one, because it's so easy to put pressure on yourself. And that's true, I think, of a lot of situations. It's not unique to this, but what is going on right now is our brains, you know, are just basically like this big old data center for controlling the rest of our body. The brain is the puppeteer, our organs, everything, our bodies are just the puppet. So the brain is confused right now. Things are different, and it's releasing, or it's not releasing, all the hormones and the critical things that need to happen for your body to function and do all the things and process all the stuff in the way that it would normally when we're in a routine that we know and that our bodies and our minds are comfortable with, assuming you're like in an average, otherwise normal, quote unquote, lifestyle. So I know, like, for me, one of the big things that I've been wrestling with through the quarantine is my sleep. like just my sleep patterns. I kind of fucked it up the first couple of weeks because I would be on my phone. I mean, I'm still on my phone a ton, but especially at night, like in bed, I was like not turning my phone off, and I would just be like in it, and I couldn't get out of it. And it would like fuck up my circadian rhythm, and then I would sleep until like 9 or 10, which is super late. And it just fucked me up for a couple weeks. So I've been for the last week and a half trying to fix that. But like, so that's one thing. And then also so I threw off my own circadian rhythm, and also my brain is probably still a little freaked out and on edge because, you know, the stuff in the back of my mind all the time about the business and like what's gonna happen and money and all that shit. Like it kind of, there's all this stuff that's happening that you're not aware of. So whatever filing system my brain is using is going a little haywire, and one of the side effects is it's fucking with my sleep. That's one of the things for me. So everyone might have different manifestations of things that are happening subconsciously as your brain is trying to process what's going on. And so it is important that you have the context and the self-awareness enough to understand how might that be affecting you and your health. And, you know, it is important to take it easy on yourself. You don't have to work out every single day. You don't have to work out your hardest every single time you work out. Perfect example. Now, I'm not a runner. I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast, but like I don't run. It's just not a thing I do. However, I think I did talk about this. At the end of 2018, New Year's, like right before New Year's, I was saying I set a couple fitness goals for myself, just something that had nothing to do with my body weight. You know, I was like, I'm sick of acting like, oh, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds. Like, what the fuck is that goal? What is that goal? What do I wanna lose 10 pounds for? What do I wanna accomplish because of that? What does that do? I don't know. So I was like, you know what I'm gonna do instead? I am gonna take a page from Natasha OCN. She is fucking obsessed with her. Massive girl crush. UK Instagram fitness influencer / she's got a PhD in biophysics, so she actually knows what she's talking about. She's cute, she's sweet, she's funny. She is in on it. She gets it. And she does like fitness programs and all this shit. She talks a lot about having performance related goals in the gym versus like aesthetic goals. So I really took a page from her, decided I wanted to be able to run a mile under 9 minutes, and that was totally arbitrary. I had no frame of reference for what I could run a mile in. I assumed it was longer than that, because at that point I hadn't run in like, I don't know, 20 fucking years, and knew I didn't like it, but I was like, that's a goal. I want to achieve that goal. I also wanted to get a pull-up, and I didn't start working on pull-ups until like 2 months before the end of 2019. So like November 2019, I'm like, I'm gonna start working on pull-ups. And I was like really making progress, except the place that, you know, I was going to work on my pull-ups had to close because of the quarantine. So I've been doing a lot of back rows and shit like that. It's hard. Pull-ups are really fucking hard, you guys. It's just a lot. There's technique and there's strength. And it's mental. It's a lot of things. But anyway, we had some really nice weather a few weeks. Actually, we've had really nice weather like all of April, which has been so fucking nice. Like if you're going to be trapped at home, at least, you know, the ability to like spend the time, a nice day out with no other things to go and do is kind of awesome. I was like, you know what? I was like out one day just going for a little stroll, and I was like, I'm just gonna run. Why not? It feels good out. Like, let's just see what I can do. And y'all, out of nowhere, I ran a mile, and I think I did a mile in 9 minutes and 30 seconds or something like that. And that was, for me, I was like, oh, wow, pretty good. You know, I was like, that's not bad. I can totally get to like under 9 minutes, thinking that would take me a while. The next day, I did it again, and I got it down to like, I don't know, 8 minutes. I think it was like 8 minutes and 30 some seconds. So I was able to keep that up. So my point here is, for like a week, because we had really nice weather that whole week, I would go on a run just to see how's my mile. Of course, as you can probably imagine, because I never ran and I, you know, really wasn't doing a lot to like warm up for a run or even recover properly, because it's a lot on your ankles, it's a lot on your calves, your hips, like the whole thing. I was getting really sore and my legs were getting super tired and not recovered enough, so my mile was getting worse over that week, taking me longer, just harder to run. So then the weather was really shit, and I didn't run for a week or so. And then it was really good. It's got this fucking stupid fucking boring story. Point is though, I took a week off, I let my body rest, I did other things, and then when I ran again a couple of days ago, I shaved off 10 seconds from my previous personal best. So I went from being at 8 minutes and 32 seconds to 8 minutes and 22 seconds. And the whole point of this is to explain why rest is important. My body was able to repair and recover and come back stronger. And that's the whole idea of fitness and working out. Okay, all that said, this is what I wanted to talk about for this week's like health note, if you will. This is my RX corner, my prescription for the week. Fuck. I gotta come up with something though. Like I really feel like I need to come up with a cute little moniker for this segment. But here's my prescription for the week. Yeah, like don't be hard on yourself, but at the same time, don't let yourself turn into a mess. Like, in other words, you need to start getting back into some kind of routine. This is my advice to you. And maybe you're already there, you know, maybe you are. Maybe this is just like preaching to the choir. But in the event that you're not, in the event that, for example, in the event that, you know, when you start going back to work, if that's something you're gonna do, or when the quarantine lifts, right? You need to start thinking about what are the things you're doing now that aren't actually conducive to your pre-quarantine lifestyle. Are you sleeping in later than normal? Are you going to bed way later than normal? Are you getting dressed like normal? Are you doing your hair? Are you doing your makeup like normal? Are you planning out your day like normal? Are you actually filling your time like normal? Are you eating like normal? Are you watching TV as normally as you do? Or are you on your phone as normal? If the answer to any of those questions is no, these are not things I was doing before the quarantine, then now is the time to start trying to recalibrate. Because eventually you're gonna need to get back for your own good, for everybody's own good. We're gonna have to get back into a situation and a society and a lifestyle where we can be productive. And I think what will be especially hard and probably fuck you up worse is if it's like a switch, you know, where one day you're being fucking lazy and you're living like you're on a permanent vacation, and the next day you're right back in it to the grindstone at 8 a.m. back at the office. Oh, I've got to eat my lunch that I packed. Like that is a huge and massive switch. And the more you have fallen out of your routine or your healthy habits, the harder that switch is gonna be. It just is. It's a bunch of evolutionary shit and again, brain shit and all this survival things. So I'm the person who's gonna be the dissenting voice in this whole message of like, be easy on yourself. Don't put too much pressure on yourself at this time. Self-care. Yes, take care of yourself. But part of taking care of yourself is creating routine and structure and purpose, you know, like, and it doesn't have to be as rigid, but it's like, again, making sure you consistently have a bedtime and you have a consistent wake up time, eating normally. Like, I'm not saying you can't eat dessert. I fucking love dessert. I'm definitely making more desserts than I normally do. I'm still trying to make them with healthy ingredients and I'm still trying to not overeat on them, but I don't normally make banana soft serve from frozen banana and then add a cashew butter swirl. I don't normally do that, but I wanted it this week and I thought that'd be a better option than making my delicious gluten-full chocolate chip cookies with sea salt on top. I had a hunch it'd be a little healthier. But like, find those opportunities to start to rein it in, you know? Fitness too. If you have taken a break from working out, now's the time. Start to get back into it, you know? Whatever you were doing before, try and find a way to emulate that. It doesn't even have to be crazy. Go on a walk. But then there's the flip side of it. For some people who are doing too many workouts, I know some people are doing 2 and 3 workouts a day because they're like, well, this is how I want to fill my time. Like, I have all this time. It's like, listen, homegirl, 3 workouts a day, every day, for weeks on end, is not good for you. It's just not. Unless you are training to be a professional athlete, that's not good for you. 1 workout a day, 5 to 6 times a week, depending on intensity, perfectly fine. That's it. That's all you need. So if you're finding that you're over exercising because you're like either working toward a goal or maybe you are just bored, might I suggest get a hobby, maybe a podcast, whatever it is. So everybody's got their different flavors of how they might be just processing the chaos and the weirdness that is the quarantine. But I think there's a time to be lenient and easy on yourself, and I think there's a time to not. So it's just my 2 cents for the week. Yeah, don't be hard on yourself. You don't have to fucking renovate your house over the next 3 weeks. But you also don't have to become a professional Netflix watcher like yours truly. And in fact, I'm actually not. I've actually watched very little TV. My TV watching habits have not changed like at all. And in fact, I might be watching less TV because I'm actually on my phone a lot more, and that is a real danger zone. So be careful on that. So that's it. Those are my thoughts. I would be curious to know if you feel like you have stuck to a good routine during this time, or if you feel like you haven't. And if you've got questions or if you want to chat through it, send me some messages on Instagram. You also can like leave comments, because again, like I said somewhere in this episode, I said that you can watch this on YouTube, so that if you want to see my gorgeous blowout, it's pretty gorgeous, and you want to see me talking into a wired set of headphones. I'm trying this today because the last time I used these headphones, I thought the audio actually sounded way better than my like quote unquote professional mic. But the reality is I'm sitting outside on my patio because, like I said, weather's been beautiful. And I don't give a fuck about soundproofing enough, because done is better than perfect. You know what else is better than perfect? Sitting outside, beautiful, gorgeous day for 2 hours. And I didn't want to sit in my closet to do it. You know what I mean? I think that's it for this week, y'all. I think that covers a lot. We covered so much. I literally have my laptop on my lap for a couple reasons. I literally have my laptop on my lap. Wow. I get it now. I get it. But I had to be plugged in for the mic, and I also literally wrote notes. I had things all week I've been dying to talk to you about, and I actually hit on all of them. I guarantee you, as soon as I start to edit this shit together and be like, fuck, I wanted to talk about this, and I wanted to talk about that, and I had this joke planned, and I fucking wanted to say this, and it's all too late. It's over. Because why? Done is better than perfect / hilarious. So, you know, I do what I can. But that's it. That's all. That's everything. That's right, bitches. I'll see you next time.